Have you ever stared at your grocery bill and thought, wait a minute, this cost me $20 less just a month ago? You're not just imagining it. The value of our hard-earned money seems to be in a constant free fall. Everyone's talking about it, but what exactly is this invisible force eating away at our savings? It's called inflation, and it's the silent thief in your wallet. Today, we're not just going to talk about it. We're going to pull back the curtain and decode it completely. Let's break it down to its simplest form. Inflation is the rate at which the general level of prices for goods and services is rising, and subsequently, the purchasing power of currency is falling. Imagine you have a crisp $100 bill. If the annual inflation rate is 5%, in 1 year, that same bill will only buy you what $95 buys you today. Your money is losing its strength. You're working just as hard, maybe even harder, but you find yourself able to afford less and less. This isn't just bad luck or a coincidence. It's a fundamental economic phenomenon that affects every single one of us. So what's the engine behind this price hiking machine? Why does this happen? Well, inflation isn't a single monster. It's more like a hydra with 3 main heads. The first is what economists call demand-pull inflation. Picture this. There's a lot of money circulating in the economy, and everyone wants to buy the latest smartphone or that new car. When more people want to buy something than what's available, the sellers can and will raise the price. It's the classic law of supply and demand in action. When demand outstrips supply, prices get pulled upwards. It's a tug-of-war for goods, and the price tag is the rope. The second head is cost-push inflation. This happens when the cost of producing goods and services goes up. Think about the journey of a simple t-shirt. The cost of cotton might increase. The price of the oil needed to transport it could spike, or the factory's electricity bill might go up. Maybe the government raises the minimum wage, increasing labor costs. Businesses aren't charities. To maintain their profit margins, they pass these extra costs onto you, the consumer. So, the price you pay for that t-shirt rises. It's not necessarily greed. In a competitive market, it's often a matter of survival for the business. Now, for the third and arguably most powerful head of the inflation hydra, the money supply. This is the big one, the one that can lead to catastrophic consequences. Central banks, like the Federal Reserve in the US, have the power to control how much money is in an economy. If they decide to print or digitally create vast amounts of new money and pump it into the financial system, the value of each individual dollar goes down. It's like adding water to juice. The more water you add, the more diluted and less potent the juice becomes. If you double the amount of money in circulation without a corresponding increase in goods and services, the value of each dollar is essentially cut in half. This isn't just a theory. We've seen it happen in history. The most infamous example is the hyperinflation in Germany's Weimar Republic in the early 1920s. The government printed money at an uncontrollable rate to pay off war debts. The result? The value of the German mark plummeted so drastically that people were literally using wheelbarrows full of cash just to buy a single loaf of bread. Their life savings became worthless overnight. It's a chilling reminder of what happens when the money supply gets completely out of control. After hearing all this, you might think inflation is purely evil, a destructive force we should eradicate. But here's the twist. A small, controlled amount of inflation is actually considered a sign of a healthy, growing economy. Most economists agree that an annual inflation rate of around 2% is the sweet spot. Why? It encourages people and businesses to spend and invest rather than hoard cash, because they know their money will be worth slightly less in the future. This spending stimulates economic activity, creates jobs, and keeps the whole system moving. It's like the gentle current in a river that keeps the water from becoming stagnant. The real danger arises when inflation breaks free from its chains and spirals out of control. When prices rise too fast, it creates uncertainty and fear. People rush to buy things before they get even more expensive, which further fuels demand-pull inflation. Workers demand higher wages to keep up with the cost of living, which leads to cost-push inflation. This vicious cycle can cripple an economy, punish savers, and disproportionately harm those on fixed incomes, like retirees. So, the billion-dollar question remains. In a world where inflation seems inevitable, how can you protect yourself from this silent thief? How do you stop your hard-earned money from losing its power? The answer lies in a simple yet profound piece of financial wisdom. Don't let your money be lazy. Money that just sits in a low-interest savings account is a sitting duck for inflation. You need to put your money to work. The key is to direct your savings into assets that have the potential to generate a return that is higher than the rate of inflation. This could mean investing in the stock market, real estate, or other assets that tend to grow in value over time. For example, if inflation is at 5%, you need your investments to return more than 5% just to maintain your purchasing power. Anything above that is a real gain. Of course, all investments carry risk, and it's crucial to understand what you're investing in. But the risk of doing nothing, of letting your money sit idle while inflation eats away at it, is a guaranteed loss. Lazy money always loses the race against inflation. Building your financial wisdom is not a one-time event. It's a continuous journey of learning and adapting. To truly take control of your money and secure your financial future, you have to actively seek out the right information and learn to look beyond the headlines and the obvious. Understanding forces like inflation is the first critical step. If you found this decryption useful and want to join us on this journey of discovery, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. It helps this information reach more people who need it. In our next mystery, we'll be diving into the human mind to examine the psychology behind imposter syndrome, that feeling that you're a fraud even when you're successful. You won't want to miss it. Until then, stay curious.